Before you even started your working day, there is a good chance you had already interacted with several software-as-a-service providers. You checked your email, opened a cloud document, joined a video meeting, updated a project, reviewed customer information, sent an invoice. Maybe you didn't install a single piece of software to do any of it. Instead, somewhere in the world, another company was operating the infrastructure, maintaining the application, protecting the data, deploying updates, and making sure that when you clicked a button, the software actually worked. Welcome to the world of software as a service, better known as SaaS. SaaS has fundamentally changed how organizations obtain and use software. Instead of buying software once, installing it on individual computers, and managing everything internally, businesses can increasingly access sophisticated applications through subscriptions and internet-connected platforms. But that convenience creates an interesting question. How much of your business now depends on companies you don't control? What happens when your SaaS provider experiences an outage? What happens to your data if you cancel? Who is responsible for security? And why can a seemingly inexpensive subscription become significantly more expensive as your company grows? Today, we're going deep inside the world of software as a service providers. How they work, how they make money, how organizations choose them, where the risks hide, and what the future of SaaS may look like. This is Servicingpedia. Get to know software as a service providers. Let's begin. To understand SaaS providers, we first need to understand how dramatically software delivery has changed. For decades, organizations commonly purchased software licenses and installed applications directly onto their own computers or servers. The organization often had to provide much of the surrounding infrastructure: servers, storage, backups, updates, security, IT support, capacity planning. And when a major new version arrived, upgrading could become a project of its own. But as internet connectivity improved and computing infrastructure became increasingly capable of supporting applications remotely, another model became practical. Instead of delivering software primarily as something customers installed and operated themselves, providers could host applications centrally and allow customers to access them remotely. Early application service provider models helped establish some of these ideas. Then cloud computing accelerated the transformation. Applications could increasingly be accessed through a web browser. Infrastructure could scale more dynamically. Updates could be deployed centrally. Subscription pricing became common, and software could potentially reach customers almost anywhere with an internet connection. This helped create the modern SaaS model. Today, SaaS exists across an extraordinary range of activities: customer relationship management, accounting, human resources, cybersecurity, project management, marketing, analytics, communication, document management, design, governance, education, artificial intelligence, and countless specialist business functions. What began as a different method of delivering software has become something much bigger: an enormous global service economy built around continuous access to digital capabilities. SaaS does not exist in isolation. Behind even a relatively simple cloud application can be an entire ecosystem of interconnected providers. Imagine a company using a customer management platform. That platform may itself depend on cloud infrastructure. It may connect to an email provider, a payment processor, an identity management service, an analytics platform, a customer support tool, and dozens of APIs and third-party components. This creates what we might call a digital supply chain. And the more important SaaS becomes to business operations, the more important that supply chain becomes. The stakeholders extend far beyond software developers. Customers depend on SaaS platforms. Employees use them. IT departments administer them. Cybersecurity teams assess them. Procurement teams negotiate contracts. Finance departments monitor spending. Compliance teams examine regulatory requirements. Legal teams review terms. Investors evaluate SaaS businesses, and regulators increasingly pay attention to areas including cybersecurity, privacy, operational resilience, and third-party risk. There is another major change occurring. Businesses may accumulate dozens, sometimes far more, SaaS subscriptions. That can create SaaS sprawl. Multiple departments purchase similar applications. Employees subscribe without centralized approval. Former employees retain licenses. Data becomes distributed across many systems. Costs become difficult to understand, and integrations make individual platforms increasingly difficult to replace. The question, therefore, isn't simply, which software should we buy? Increasingly, the question is, which external technology providers are we prepared to depend upon? At its core, software as a service is a model in which software applications are hosted and managed by a provider and made available to customers, typically through the internet. Instead of purchasing only a software product, the customer is effectively entering an ongoing service relationship. And that relationship contains several important components. Component 1, the application. First comes the actual software. This could be anything from accounting software to a sophisticated enterprise management system. But building the application is only the beginning. Component 2, hosting and infrastructure. The application needs somewhere to operate. Many SaaS providers use cloud infrastructure to provide computing power, storage, networking, and other technical resources. This allows applications to serve customers without each customer operating the complete underlying environment themselves. Component 3, subscription and access. Customers typically receive access according to a pricing model. That might mean per user, per month, per organization, per transaction, per feature, according to usage, or through different subscription tiers. The pricing structure matters enormously. A service costing $20 per user per month sounds inexpensive. For 5 employees, that's $100 per month. For 500, that's $10,000. Before additional services, premium functionality or usage charges. Component 4, updates and maintenance. Traditional software updates could require customers to install new versions themselves. With SaaS, providers can frequently deploy updates centrally. Customers may receive new features, security patches, and improvements without conducting traditional installations. That's convenient, but it also means customers may have less control over when interfaces or functionality change. Component 5, data. This is one of the most important areas. SaaS platforms may process or store customer information. That immediately creates important questions. Where is the data stored? Who can access it? How is it protected? How is it backed up? Can the customer export it? What happens when the contract ends? Component 6, integrations. Modern SaaS platforms rarely operate alone. They connect through APIs and integrations. Your CRM may communicate with your email marketing system. Your accounting platform may connect with payment services. Your HR platform may connect with payroll. These integrations can create enormous efficiencies, but they also create dependencies. The 5-stage SaaS customer journey. For a customer, the relationship often follows 5 broad stages. 1, selection, identifying a business need and evaluating providers. 2, contracting, agreeing on pricing, terms, service levels, and responsibilities. 3, implementation, configuring the software, migrating information, and integrating systems. 4, operation, using, supporting, and monitoring the service. 5, renewal or exit, renewing, renegotiating, migrating, or terminating. And here's something businesses frequently underestimate. Signing the contract is not the end of SaaS management. It is the beginning. Understanding the theory is important, but what does SaaS management look like in the real world? Imagine a growing company called North Star Consulting. It has 20 employees. The company chooses a SaaS platform to manage customer relationships. Initially, everything looks fantastic. Implementation is quick, the monthly cost is manageable. Employees love the system. Customer information becomes centralized. Automation saves time. Management gains better visibility. Then the company grows. 20 employees become 100. More departments start using the platform. Additional modules are purchased. Integrations are built. Historical customer records accumulate. Automated workflows become dependent on the system. 3 years later, the platform isn't merely another subscription. It has become part of North Star's operational infrastructure. Then renewal arrives. The provider proposes different commercial terms. Now, North Star faces a difficult decision. Accept the new pricing? Renegotiate? Reduce licenses? Move to another provider? Switching sounds easy, until the company realizes it needs to migrate years of information, rebuild integrations, retrain employees, and redesign workflows. This demonstrates an important SaaS principle. The purchase price is not necessarily the total cost of dependency. Strong SaaS management therefore examines much more than headline subscription pricing. Organizations should consider factors such as security, reliability, support, integration capability, data portability, contract terms, scalability, business continuity, exit arrangements, and total cost over time. Another useful metric is utilization. If you are paying for 500 licenses but only 310 employees regularly use the service, that difference matters. But utilization isn't everything. A rarely used disaster recovery function could still be extremely important. Success, therefore, needs to be measured against the purpose of the service, not merely how often somebody clicks it. Despite its popularity, SaaS is surrounded by misconceptions. Myth 1. SaaS is always cheaper. Not necessarily. SaaS can reduce certain infrastructure and implementation burdens, but recurring subscriptions, increasing user counts, premium features, integrations, and usage-based charges can significantly affect lifetime costs. The correct comparison is often total cost of ownership, not simply initial price. Myth 2. The SaaS provider handles security, so we don't need to. This is dangerous. Providers may be responsible for important parts of platform security, but customers still have responsibilities. User permissions, passwords, access controls, configuration, employee behavior, data handling, integration security. A powerful security platform configured badly can still create serious risk. Myth 3. Our data is in the cloud, so it is automatically backed up exactly how we need. Not necessarily. Backup arrangements, recovery capabilities, retention periods, and customer responsibilities vary between services. Organizations should understand what is actually provided rather than assume. Myth 4. We can switch providers whenever we want. Technically, perhaps. Operationally, maybe not so easily. Data migration, integrations, workflows, contractual commitments, and employee training can create significant switching costs. Myth 5. More SaaS tools mean greater productivity. Sometimes. But adding applications without proper management can create duplicate systems, fragmented data, unnecessary expenditure, and employee confusion. Here's today's Servicingpedia Fact or Fiction Challenge. If a company outsources a critical business function to a SaaS provider, the operational risk associated with that function is completely transferred to the provider. Fact or fiction? Think about your answer. We'll leave that one with you for the comments. SaaS is sometimes treated as the automatic answer to every software requirement. It isn't. Consider 3 broad approaches. SaaS. A SaaS solution may offer relatively fast deployment, predictable subscription models, centralized updates, and lower infrastructure management requirements. But organizations may have less control over customization, product direction, and certain operational decisions. Self-hosted or traditional software. Organizations may operate software within environments they control more directly. This can provide additional control in certain circumstances, but it may also require greater infrastructure, maintenance, security, and internal technical capability. Custom software. Organizations can build applications specifically around their requirements. This can provide extensive flexibility, but custom development requires investment, development teams, testing, maintenance, cybersecurity, documentation, infrastructure, and continuous improvement. There is no universally superior answer. For a small business needing standardized accounting functionality, SaaS might make enormous sense. For an organization with highly specialized requirements, another approach may be appropriate. Many organizations ultimately use a hybrid environment combining SaaS, custom applications, and other technology. Rather than asking, which model is best? Ask, which model provides the right balance of capability, cost, control, risk, and flexibility for this particular requirement? SaaS has already transformed software. Artificial intelligence may transform SaaS again. For years, SaaS largely gave users tools. The next generation may increasingly give users outcomes. Instead of opening 5 different screens and manually completing a workflow, users may increasingly tell an AI-enabled platform what they want accomplished. The system could then analyze information, recommend actions, generate content, automate processes, or coordinate tasks. This could fundamentally affect SaaS pricing. If AI agents perform work traditionally completed by individual users, charging purely per seat may become less appropriate for some applications. We may see more pricing based on usage, transactions, computing consumption, automated tasks, or measurable outcomes. But AI also creates new questions. What information is being sent to AI systems? Can customer information be used to train models? How reliable are automated outputs? Who approves AI-generated actions? How are decisions audited? And what happens when autonomous systems make mistakes? Meanwhile, organizations are becoming increasingly dependent on interconnected digital providers. That makes vendor resilience increasingly important. Businesses may need to understand not only what their SaaS provider does, but what their SaaS provider depends upon. The future of SaaS may therefore involve 2 developments happening simultaneously: more automation and greater dependency. The opportunity is enormous. So is the importance of understanding the providers behind the technology. Today we discovered that software as a service is much more than software accessed through a browser. It's an ongoing relationship between customers and technology providers. We learned that SaaS can provide powerful advantages, including accessibility, scalability, centralized updates, and rapid access to sophisticated capabilities. But we also discovered that convenience creates dependency. Security matters, contracts matter, data portability matters, service reliability matters, pricing matters, and your exit strategy matters. Perhaps the most important takeaway is this: the more important a SaaS platform becomes to your organization, the less you should treat it as just another subscription. It may be part of your operational infrastructure, and infrastructure deserves oversight. As artificial intelligence, automation, and cloud technology continue developing, SaaS providers may become even more deeply embedded in how organizations operate. Understanding those relationships will become increasingly important. But SaaS is only one part of the enormous global servicing economy. In another episode of Servicingpedia, Get to Know, we'll explore another service, profession, or provider helping power the modern economy. If you found this episode useful, like the video, subscribe to Servicingpedia, and share it with someone who works with SaaS providers. And tell us in the comments, which SaaS platform would be hardest for your organization to operate without tomorrow? Continue exploring the world of services, providers, industries, and professional knowledge at Servicingpedia.com. Thank you for watching Servicingpedia, part of the MP Nerds ecosystem. Learn the service, understand the provider, make better decisions.